Thank you all for coming. And this is my first seminar here, so I have no idea what I'm doing. We'll see what happens. We'll make it work. So the first thing they asked me to talk to you about is the trip to China, because we are involved with a wonderful group. So what happens? We are in the middle of our plant sale open house, and I get a phone call on my cell phone. That's weird. I answered the phone, and they said, I am from the sister city for Long Beach, Qingdao in China, and the city of Long Beach has been invited to present or to set up a horticultural display at our 2014 event. So of course, when they said, the city of Long Beach said, yes, we'll do it, having no idea what horticulture was. So of course, I get a phone call, and they asked me, would you mind helping us out? And I said, sure. You'll find out that I do say those words a couple of times here and there. So the city of Long Beach got invited. We are going to set up a display during the spring break. We're going to be there opening for the grand opening. They requested to have some reps. And this is more or less a schematic of what the show is going to look like. So of course we came together, the city of Long Beach, the Qingdao Association, a landscape architectural company, Long Beach City College, and a bunch of other individuals, and we came up with a design. If a person from China would like to visit Long Beach, they can go through this garden and see the historical aspect of horticulture through the times. So they'll begin here with a naturalized garden, go through the Rancho era. Well, of course, we have Rancho Los Cerritos Alamitos, go through the mid-century and all the way to the modern garden. So that's a schematic of how it's going to look. That's going to be a drawing of how the person or the people will see it. So if they don't make it to Long Beach, they'll see what happened here. And of course, it is being built as we speak. So by 2014, April, it should be done and ready for the grand opening. And this is what we wanted to show them. The wildflowers of Long Beach and what would Long Beach look like before the development of the city and a bunch of the buildings and of course the roadways, all the wildflowers that we have here. And of course Catalina, that's a great area to see right now. Beautiful. I mean, this is Long Beach way back. Most of you don't remember this. And these are some of the representative plants that we want to educate the Chinese public on watching. And of course, some of the Native American areas are their homes. That's going to be a tiny display. Leading to the Rancho Los Cerritos era. Of course, now we get the introduction of a lot of new plants, the citrus, the grapes, the olives, and a bunch of the things that we take for granted, including natives for decorating around the area, big ficus trees. So we get an introduction of a bunch of new plants, including historic trees like our Italian cypress. And if we look at some of the drawings from an old garden, that cypress is the one that I just pointed out. That's still alive. And that leads to my next talk, the 24th. Come over and see me again. More Rancho Los Alamitos in the historic part of Long Beach. So showcasing the garden or the horticulture as it has changed. That also will lead us to the Spanish influence in Long Beach, and we can see a lot of Spanish influence in the gardens here in the city of Long Beach. To the cottage garden, where people started moving from back east, and they started bringing some of the plants that they were familiar. The forest type look, leading us, of course, to more of the mid-century, where now we want to have a beachy look. So that's when we get palm trees coming in. And then to the more mid-century as well, where we have very geometrical patterns and a lot of straight lines. And that's what people started liking. That eventually will lead us to more of the modern type. And of course, because we are in Long Beach and we have wonderful weather, 24 hours a day, 365 days a week, we are also emphasizing a lot of the outdoor room and a lot of the outdoor recreational areas. So sitting areas for people to relax, fountains, areas for people to gather, fire pits. Those are all new things that are in Long Beach. But also the future. I presented this to the representatives from China, and they say this is exactly what we want, what we're going to start pushing China to do, because water conservation is a big deal no matter where you are in the world. So the Land to Garden program they thought was a wonderful thing, where a person is being given a $3,000 reimbursement for taking away the lawn and replacing it with something that is a little bit more of a water conservation that still looks good and attractive. And of course, as we come to the present, the gardens are changing. Economic is driving us into an edible landscape. So a lot of edibles are being grown. Before, it wasn't posh to have edibles in your yard. We don't do that. But now it's acceptable because people are going to start saving money by growing things that look beautiful and they can harvest out of the ground. The parkway, also nice and beautiful. People are starting to change from the common grass to something where they still have access for people to go out of their vehicle and not trample the plants, and also having walkways for them to go onto the sidewalk. So beautiful, beautiful changes in the landscape that are taking place as we speak. We're running trail, paving stones, planters containers, different types of new plants, different materials that are now becoming the new shape, or what we like to refer to as the Long Beach garden. And California native, of course, beautiful, and still needs a little bit of work, but it is a work in progress, and we'll see more of those later on, including a lot of the succulents. We can grow anything here, but this, they thought, was actually right in the bullseye with the theme of the show. So we are going to be taking, we're trying to get about 5 students. We are going to take a student from film, so that they can do a documentary on this. We are taking horticulture students so that they can represent our program, as well as a journalism student that is going to write an article for the Viking. So it is a multi-department work that they're going to be paying for the trip, and they have money through the Beverly O'Neill Foundation, so they're going to be using that. They've been saving that for such an event to take students to China. So that's where we're going to be taking them to see China and hopefully experience something that otherwise would have not happened, including the living walls that we have here. So that's one. Now let's get to the real one. Passion flowers. Yay! Okay, what happened here? Okay. Passion flowers. Ta-da! This is a passion flower. Now, if you have no idea what it is, I'm going to ask you one question. Where you been? I'm sure you've been really busy in your classes, but you should take time to look around, because this is a plant that grows everywhere. And it is one of the plants that probably has led me to where I am right now. I was young once, and I came across this plant not knowing anything about plants and horticulture. And when I saw it, it was the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. To me, it looked like a spider. And so when I kept looking at it, touching it, feeling, smelling it, I was in a house with somebody that I knew, so they told me, if you want it, you can just take the plant with you. And I did. Yank it out of the ground, and then we noticed some kind of fruit. And she said, if you want the fruit, you can take it, and it'll grow wherever you want. And I did. I ended up taking a bunch of fruits, which inside there were a lot of seeds. So when I took those plants and the seeds, I was happy. When I grew over 200 plants, I was really happy. At that specific point, I knew I should have said no, but I didn't. And of course, I hit the point of no return, and now this is the result of all of that. Some people claim that I have a passion for this. I think it's a rumor. Don't believe all that is said. But it's a passion for passion flowers. And these are some of the things that we're going to find out today. General introduction, the anatomy of the plant. I'm sure you're not plant people, so I will guide you a little bit into that. The layout of the passion flower is really important. The different passion flower groups. Keeping in mind that about 95% of the pictures that you're going to see here today have been taken at the horticulture gardens. Pollination, birds and the bees, you're all adults, you get to have that wonderful lecture with me. Hybrids, just a few of them, the fruit and the butterflies. Now, if we don't get through every single topic, I can always send you this, or it's going to be online later on. So let's get started. Passion flowers are going to be coming from South America, and that is my place to hide. If I had nothing to do, I would probably be in South America rummaging through the jungles looking for passion flowers. And I did that over the summer, and I'm going to do it every single year. A few of them from China. We'll see a few species. North America, but the majority come from Central and South America. This is how you find them. We just go through the jungles, find clearings, and then we look around. Passion flowers, for the most part, are going to be vines, and they are going to be opportunistic. They need to have a clearing where they're going to grow fast, get to the sunlight, and be able to survive. So when we have a nice clearing, that's where we need to focus our attention. And you're going to look up, and we're going to look down everywhere, because even though the flowers are beautiful and big and colorful, it is difficult to find them in and amongst the rest of the vegetation. And when you find them, it's a moment of glory. We happen to find this plant in the wild, and that is a big thing for any plant person. We can find them from the nursery and have them in a pot and grow them in our house. But to actually find the plant where it came from is something that is a dream to many people, including Jan van der Planck, who was the author of one of the first books on passion flowers. He later became my hero and kind of guided me through a lot of these passion flowers. I became his #1 fan, and I became his #1 fan that I even married his only daughter. The passion flowers are going to be found everywhere. And the passion flowers are going to go to sleep. When they wake up, they're going to find themselves in front of Trader Joe's. And of course, people are going to look at the flowers and, I want one of those. And then they're going to turn to this. The plants do not realize that they were taken out of the jungle. So they see a lot of light and an open fence. I'm going to grow. A lot of trees fell down. Here I go. So you can grow in many structures. Arbors, this is some of the structures that you find along Long Beach. Entryway to our driveway or garage, covering walls, containers, you name them, they can go anywhere, and they will, so be careful. Pots or containers can restrict them, and this is what I like to call passion flower in front of a yard and nothing else. That is perfection. Nothing else is needed. So let's look at some of the anatomy of the plant. Of course, we have the stem. In this case, we have a vine, a climbing plant. The leaves are going to be very different. We'll see them later on. We're going to have a wonderful modified stem known as a tendril, which the plant uses for clinging and climbing and holding itself up. We'll talk about the fruits later on, and then the flower will be very, very important. And this is how it looks. Very different from your typical high school biology generic flower. With passion flowers, we're going to have the petals and the sepals and everything else. Unique to this group is the corona, which is made up of many filaments, and also the column, which is giving rise to the female part of the flower and the male part of the flower. So that is very different, and of course nectar that is going to be produced at the base, and we'll talk about that later on for pollination. And this is how they're going to grow, either facing up towards the sun or hanging down towards the ground. So you're going to find both of them. And this is going to give us a size ratio. So when I speak about a small passion flower, I'm talking about something like this. A medium one, something like this, and a large one will be something like this, because there's tiny and there's humongous one. So the legend of the passion flower, keeping in mind that in the 1400s, 1500s, the doctrine of signature was prevailing over people. So if you don't know what that is, it means that if a plant has some kind of leaf that looks like a heart, you can eat it, and it's going to be used to treat the heart or the brain or some other body part. So of course, the missionaries, as they started going around the jungles, they found this flower, and of course, immediately they correlated with the crucifixion of Christ, whereas every single part of the flower and the plant became symbolic. So when we start looking at the flower, the 3 stigmas on top, which is the female part of the flower, represents the 3 nails, 2 in the hands, 1 in the feet. The 5 stamens represents the hammers used for the nails, or some people say that those represent the wounds inflicted on Christ. Now, this is not theology, but part of the history. The ovary on top of the column represents the sponge. When Christ was on top of the cross, he asked for water, given vinegar on a sponge on top of a lance. The the petals and sepals represents the 10 apostles, excluding St. Peter because he denied him, and Judas because he betrayed him. The corona filaments represents the crown of thorns, and that's why the name corona comes in. When you look at the tendrils, they look like whips, represents the whips that they used to lash Christ. And of course the leaves, many times they have 5 lobes, represents the hands of the Romans who crucified him. And the color purple, in this case, represents Christ's passion, hence the name passion flower comes from. The flower happens to be white, it represents Christ's purity. If it happens to be red, it represents Christ's blood. And you can make anything after that. On many passion flowers, we're going to find nectar glands that are golden and round and colorful. Those represent the gold coins or silver coins given to Judas for betraying Christ. And on the back of the flowers, we're going to find 3 modified leaves known as bracts. Those represents the Holy Trinity. Now, because of the legend of the passion flowers, there's some stories that say that when the missionaries saw that, that was a sign that the local people needed to be Christianized, and that's the rest is history. But it was also the reason why the passion flowers were one of the earliest plants to be taken into the European gardens. So very important. So when we start looking at the different passion flowers, there's about 650. I've not collected them all. That's my lifelong goal. We're going to look at the rare kinds, the ones that are going to be more of a tree type and or a woody liana. And this is from French Guiana, and there's the flowers right at the ground. So that was one of the crown jewels of passion flowers that I got a chance to see 2 years ago. And in my youth, I went to Florida to see the tree passion flower. And then shortly after, I grew it here at Long Beach City College, and I was really happy. And I finally got some of the rare ones to grow. And then Pietieri, and sorry about the botanical name. I know those are hoity-toity, but there's no common names to them. So just passion flower and then Pietieri. That's all you need to know. And then I get a little later on, and I was really happy. So you can see how young I was back then, and handsome. Here's the flower of that one. And then in Brazil, Passiflora hematostigma. In the wild, beautiful, beautiful flower. So everybody wants to have this plant. And in French Guiana, you can see that flower right there. You have to spot it while driving 60 miles an hour. You can get an eye for that, and I already have it. So no problem. I found this one, Passiflora candida. Beautiful, beautiful specimen of a passion flower. And citrifolia with more of a purplish corona. And a few more that are a little bit more unusual. This one's just described in science, Passiflora tina. And of course, that was the rare ones. Now we get to the weird passion flowers. The ones that have the modified stem that is known as the tendril, but the flower buds are produced right at the tendril. That's weird. We don't like to see that. But anyway, in French Guiana, we found the other crown jewel for passion flowers. And you can see the tendril right here. And there's the flower buds that later open into this. And of course, from the wild, take my photo. I want to have that for the rest of my life. There's a beautiful passion flower. And here it is flowering at our horticulture unit. And I can definitely say I am the 3rd person to make it flower in cultivation in the world. So that is very, very rare. Here's another one with the flower buds right here. And there's the beautiful, beautiful flowers. Now from the weird, we're going to go to the cutesy ones. The tiny ones, but have the most beautiful, variegated, or colorful leaves that often are going to look like a bat wing. Passiflora organensis, and here's some of the little tiny ones. Now, that's not to say, oh, look at that diamond, look at all the tiny cutesy flowers. Same as the big one. And here's the common standard one, and 5 other flowers on top. So that's 6 of them in one area. And here's some of the variegation with pink and purple. The flowers are white and cutesy. Here's the 2nd smallest passion flower in the world. Tiny, tiny bat-wing leaves. Here's another one with a very long bat-wing leaf here. And the flowers white. And here's another one with another bilobe leaves, kind of yellowish. The flowers, greenish in color. Of course, these are greatly magnified. Here's one with a beautiful variegation and golden dots. The flowers, cutesy. Here's one that it has a very long bilobe batwing leaf. The flowers, wow. And here's one that, of course, it has more of a greenish flower, beautiful red margin on the leaf. The flowers, wow. And one that has a very, very nice fragrance with beautiful leaves, and the flowers are nice and purple and colorful. And then, of course, the true batwing with a leather leaf that can grow well over 12 inches across. Flowers the size of a quarter. And one that comes from South America, xistos, which means batwing. Of course, has the purple-black corona. And this one is characterized by having what is referred to as orgy blooming, where every single flower opens in one single day. These are the species native to Australia, Herbertiana, and this is the other one from Australia, Aurantia herbertiana, and this will be the third one from Australia, Cinnabarina. This is from New Zealand, and I happened to make it flower for the first time over the summer. So this is a brand new one to me. Tentandra, native to New Zealand. And here's in comparison to the common standard one. And of course, here's the only species that I've grown and made a flower from China, Altebalobata. And of course, there's about 10. Most of them are in danger of being extinct. And of course, I had a chance to go to Palenque, and who cares about a pile of rubbish and rock? I want to go up here, because that's where we got Passiflora guatemalensis, seen for the first time in the wild, and actually seen for the first time in my life. I don't care about the rocks. In Michoacan, in a burnt area, we found Porphyrietica, and I think I have the only one in cultivation in the US. And then Stanleyi and Lutea can make it into North America or southern Texas and Arizona. And this will be the smallest passion flower native to the Florida Keys. And that's very, very tiny. And comparing it to another one, there it is. Very, very tiny, the smallest one. And this is a brand new one. I got asked if I could help with a new project or a National Science Foundation project where they doing the phylogeny or the naming of this and the classification. So they wanted me to get into flower, and of course when I got into flower, that is a brand new species that has been described. And this is another brand new species that I am working on the description. So this one is not going to carry my name, but it's going to carry my name as the author. So this is going to be my very first passion flower species that is going to have Ochoa somewhere on the side. In publication right now. From the Dominican Republic, and I probably have the only plants in the United States. This one is from Panama, that was also given to me, so get it to flower, another brand new species in publication, and one from Colombia that also is a brand new species ready to be publicated. And this is what I do. I cut the flower, I get it to flower first, that's the difficult part, and then I take a cross section and take photos, because this what is referred to as the floral tube and the coronas, that's what we want to see, because that is what's going to be published in the National Science Foundation grant that was given to Missouri, Kansas, and Rancho Santa Ana Botanic Garden, so it's a and Long Beach City College, but we're not getting paid for it because I can't accumulate. From the cutie one, we go to the drop dead gorgeous, the big, big, big flowers that everybody wants to have. And of course, here's one that will face the ground. Here's another one that will flower here in Long Beach twice a year. Here's some of the red ones. Beautiful, beautiful flowers. Many of them are quite large, and they're going to be the biggest ones you're going to find. This one came to me, and when I flowered it about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and shortly after I flowered it, it became described by somebody in South America. But I do have, or I had the only one in cultivation in the US, given to me by a friend. This one is from French Guiana, Gabrieliana, beautiful flowers. From Brazil, Lovgreni, and Gritensis from Brazil as well. And Macrocarpa, now we're getting into the bluish. And this one has, the petals and sepals are tiny, but the bracts is what is really showy on that flower. Sprucei and Sabrotunda, now we're getting into flowers that reflects the petals all the way. And of course, incarnata is native to eastern United States. It can grow in the cold, commonly referred to as maypop. Murriana is an extremely hardy one. It's been growing in the back of the horticulture unit for many, many years now. Phoenicia, very common, growing in front of our horticulture units right now, flowering. So if you want to see this one, head on to horticulture and you will find it growing on the fence. And on Long Beach, and it's Long Beach and Spring, it is being grown on top of a humongous vine is being grown on top of a fence. So it's a beautiful one. Racemosa, where the flower buds are going to be showy and colorful even before the flowers open. And that's a close-up of the flowers. And of course, there's a group that is being referred to as the Love in the Mist passion flower, because the bracts are going to be feathery or ferny looking. And of course, when we start looking at Passiflora arida, native to Arizona, so it's a North American native. Villosa, again, there's the feathery bracts. And Nigelifolia, which means Nigeliflora, with the flowers like Nigelia, which is the Love in the Mist. That's that one, with the ferny bracts. And Sadifolia, a beautiful, beautiful big flower. And this is another one that was just published. It was growing for a while, and nobody has managed to get it to fruit. It was given to me, and shortly after, I grew the fruit. And I provided the photos to my father-in-law, and he got somebody to do the drawing. So then it was published in Curtis Botanical Magazine in England, and there's the fruit that I sent over to them. So I was the first one to get it to fruit, about the size of a plum. And then a while back in horticulture, we had this. And if you can count the number of flowers, you can multiply it by 2 on this side and 2 more times in the back. So it was really colorful. This is before I was even here as a faculty, but at one point we had this flower growing here in horticulture, Passiflora mixta. And then Terminiana, it's another beautiful one from the high altitudes in the Andes Mountains in Peru and Ecuador. Antioquensis from Colombia, and Matthewsia as well from Colombia and Ecuador, and some of those higher mountains, higher elevation plant. Cumbalensis from Panama, Ecuador. Whew. That was a lot of them. So now let's talk about plant pollination and the birds and the bees. So pollination syndrome is a word that is often used to describe characteristics that the flower may adopt to either attract or deter unwanted pollinators. So we're going to begin with the birds, and of course those are hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are wonderful pollinators in that they have wonderful acrobatic skills, and they're able to pollinate many, many flowers, including passion flowers. So the birds can see quite well, and that is what the plants have taken advantage of. So when you look at a plant that is pollinated by hummingbirds, you're going to find it in the orangey, scarlet red colors, as well as some of the yellows. And there's not going to be any fragrance because birds do not smell. So they go by their eyes. And the nectar is going to be rich, but it's going to be in small amounts. The plant doesn't want that bird to get stuffed and go to home and not go visit more flowers. And here's, of course, a hummingbird pollinating a passion flower. But here are some unique adaptations with the sword-bill hummingbird. And if you notice, the length of the beak is the same length with the tube for that flower. So this is where the plant and the flower the flower and the bird has become so dependent on one another that if something happens to this bird, the flower will not get pollinated. So this, the length of the beak is about 7 or 8 inches in length, and that is the length of that tube. And here are a few flowers that are also adapted for being pollinated by birds. The green flowers, but the red margins and the red stems are the attractive feature. And this one is from the Caribbean islands. Notice very rigid corona to kind of keep the bees away, but enough area for the beak to go through. Here's Passiflora membranacea. The colorful bracts is what's going to attract the hummingbirds. But also hanging down, there's no landing platforms for insects. Passiflora tulea from the Caribbean islands, the corona filaments have fused, creating that tube that no longer has a length specific for a hummingbird. or the beak. And here again, the corona deterring insects from taking the nectar. And here's mandoki from Brazil. And notice it almost looks like a bougainvillea with the colorful bracts. And also you can see the length between the reproductive part and the nectar. So it's a perfect length between the beak, or the tip of the beak, and the head of the hummingbird. So you'll see a very high corona filament with the same one with this one. And here's another one that has a tube with the nectar at the bottom to keep it away from insects and give it only to the hummingbirds. And here's citrina, which was doing the same thing. Sublanceolata, one of those love in the mist passion flowers that change over to being pollinated by hummingbirds. And Murucuya, which is another example of those corona filaments fusing to create that tube. And Reflexiflora, not giving any landing platforms. This one is actually flowering right now in horticulture. Go in the back of the greenhouse. You can see it right now. A beautiful, beautiful flower. And of course, the crown jewel of this is Pyrite, which grows well in Striping Arboretum in San Francisco. I have not managed to get a flower here, but I'm working on it. So later on, I'll come back and I'll show you pictures and say, yay, we've done it. Insect pollination, now we change the syndrome. Now the corona filament will act as a landing platform. The colors are going to be more in the purplish blue, whites, and pinks. And also we'll have a fragrance of honey or perfume to attract the insects. And here's a bumblebee. And you notice the proximity to the corona and the reproductive parts. Perfect for the insect to go through there. Around here in Long Beach, we have the carpenter bees that will do a wonderful job. And if you notice, there's the pollen, so perfect length of the column. And here's a honeybee pollinating some of the tinier or smaller passion flowers. And here's some other wild bees in French Guiana, very tiny, but in the process of collecting pollen, they can potentially deliver the pollen to a stigma, probably by accident, but maybe not. So even tiny insects can carry out the job of pollination, or a flower fly can do the same thing. So many, many of them. Now we get to bat pollination, and bats are also very important. Of course, they are nocturnal, and they're going to be adapted for eating pollen and nectar, and you'll see an extended snout to be able to go into a deep nectary inside the flower. So their main diet will be insects for protein, and also nectar and pollen as well. So the syndrome for bat pollination, including flowers that would open during the night, and also flowers that are going to be white, dark purple, brown, or green. A large amount of pollen, and also look at how the reproductive parts are kind of dangling so that they will make good contact with the pollinator. And also notice how the flower is being pushed away from the plant so that the bud is able to see it out there. So here's a close-up of those. So the nectar will be located here, and there's a dangling reproductive part. And the fragrance can be of a ripe fruit or musky kind of fragrance. And here's a perfect picture of the bat making contact with the reproductive part of the flower. And here's another one where even the crown is a little bit curved to give access to the bat. And this is a brand new species, Unipetala, one single petal. And they are testing this for being more of a sonar guide, where the bat will send out the sonar guiding the animal to the nectaries. And this is the close-up or the side view of the flower. So one single petal, so a sonar. And here's the bat, basically drinking the nectar. And here's some of the study with the length of the tongue of the bat. So the bat will lick the nectar, and they will do a good job at it. And here's from the Caribbean islands, Passiflora penduliflora, the greenish passion flower, and Passiflora intrisecta, which is getting ready to flower in horticulture as we speak. Human pollination, hybrids. So I don't do a lot of things, but if you want to hybridize passion flowers and make your own, then you can take the male part of the pollen, put it in the stigma, and do the other thing. And if you are successful, you get to pollinate and make your own hybrid. Lady Margaret, Myron Beauty, Purple Haze, Violaceae, White Wedding, and this will be the most important one, the only one that I've done, and this is the one that I named after my wife after she completed her master's degree in botany. So if pollination was successful, whether it be done by bees, hummingbirds, insects, or people, then of course you get what is known as a passion fruit. And if we look at the flower once again, we'll see the flower parts. The most important feature will be the corona, the ovary right there on top of the column, because now the column will be the stem and the fruit will become the swollen ovary with, of course, a bunch of seeds. And this is a nursery in North Long Beach, actually Compton, but it is one of the biggest producers of passion fruits for the nursery trades here in Long Beach. And this is passion fruit growing in a lot of the fences here in Long Beach, because you can harvest a lot of fruits, and if you go into the market, you're going to pay about $2 for a single fruit. And a single vine can give you well over 200 fruits in one season. So this is Naples over here by 2nd Street, growing on a palm tree. And if you want a passion fruit, you can grow it anywhere. They're not picky. And this is how the fruit's going to look. And when you cut it, this is what you're going to find. You're going to find a lot of seeds, and of course, the wonderful sweet pulp. The rind, most species will be useless, but on one is actually edible. And of course, you can simply scoop the fresh fruit out of the fruit, or out of the fruit itself, the pulp, or you can extract it and make drinks and sweets and pastries and yogurt and mix it with anything else. And this is how you extract it. It's a lot of work, but you can get a good amount of liquid that you can later mix with your juices. And if you go to the market and find passion banana, passion mango, passion guava, passion pineapple, it's all making a relation or a name to the passion fruit. This will be the wild species, and notice not a very showy flower. This is from Brazil, and this is how you find them in cultivation. So we've done some selection, so we don't no longer grow in the wild form. And of course, most people will know this purple variety that is fruit. The fruit is good to eat right off of the vine, and when you cut inside, wonderful flesh that's going to have a tropical, tasty, sweet flavor to it, and a nice fragrance as well. This is how you can serve them to your guests. And of course, in South America, we have the maracuya, golden maracuya. In Hawaii, there's the lilikoi. Depending on where you go in the country, there's a different name. And of course, this one is a little bit sour, but it's the one that is used for commerce, for a lot of your yogurt and flavoring a lot of your desserts. Big fruits, and this is how they look in the inside. The seeds, you can chew them, you can swallow them, you can spit them. Passion fruit is a great thing to add on top of vanilla ice cream, if you get a chance. And then this is the one that we found in the wild, and that, of course, gives us a papaya-looking fruit, and this is in the market in Brazil. And of course, Frederick is the one that is supposed to be grown here without a problem, self-pollinating, and you get a bigger fruit that's a little bit sweeter. Phoenicia, growing in front of a unit, will give you a fruit as well. And then Maliformes will give you a wonderful fruit that will require the use of a hammer for breaking, and that's how the fruit will look inside. Ligularis, Granadilla, by common name in South America, one of the sweetest one you're going to find, and there's a fruit being sold in the markets. Elegance is the one that I'm trying to get into the market because it does have potential for being a good one. Nigradina is one that I got seeds, and the only planting cultivation in the US came from me, and it does have a very good fruit, very sweet. Actinia, very prolific. It will give you a good fruit that has a flavor similar to grape. Terminiana, commonly referred to as banana passion fruit, is not that good. You need to add a lot of sugar to it. And when you cluster them together, they look like banana fingers, so that's why they're called banana passion flowers. They don't taste like banana. Decaisniana, it's another really good one that's commonly available. Lots of pulp, but big seeds. So will Macrocarpa give you lots of pulps and big seeds. And Nitida, I'm in the market in French Guiana. Great fruit. Unfortunately, most of these fruits, you will not find them in the local market here in the US. The biggest one is Quadrangularis, and every single literature that's out there says Quadrangularis. I had to go to French Guiana to finally see it. There I am holding a two fruit, and there's how it looks inside. There's the pulp. And when you look at the amount of pulp from 2 seeds, that was 20 euros. That was a lot of money for that pulp, so better enjoy it. But this one does have the second advantage of having a rind that you can cook it, and it does have the flavor of marrow or a very large zucchini, and that's an edible vegetable for a lot of people. And the larifolia, the water calabash, it's another wonderful, wonderful, tasty fruit. So enjoy your passion fruit. They are good for you. Go out there in the market and find them. All right, 10 minutes to go, and the last topic, passion flower butterfly. A lot of people like butterflies that come into the garden, and this is one reason why many of them grow this plant. As we go through the passion flower butterfly story, it's going to sound like a soap opera, okay? So what happens? The butterfly. There's a specific group of butterfly known as the long wing or heliconias that can feed only on passion flowers. So their caterpillars can only feed on passion flowers. So it's a very interesting group of butterflies in that the adults are going to go out, and when they find flowers, they're going to literally pull up the pollen, creating what is referred to as a pollen ball. Having that ability and mixing it with nectar, they're going to ingest a diet that is higher in amino acids and proteins. So this group of butterflies does have the ability of living as an adult for up to 6 months compared to 1 or 2 weeks for most other butterflies. The relation to the head and the body also means that the butterfly is smart or relatively smart compared to other butterflies. And they have to have that because every single night they go back to the same roosting area and roost in mass. And also, as the butterflies are flying around for those 6 months laying eggs, they need to remember the location of where the passion flower was found, because that's the only thing that will feed its young. And also, when a male happens to find a female that's still in the chrysalis stage, he will mate with her. So when she comes out, all she needs to find is flowers and pollen, and it's ready to lay eggs. So that's also unique to that. So let's take stages. Let's go through the butterflies. First of all, the adult stage. Butterflies can see really well. So they're going to go up in the jungle, look for leaves that kind of look like passion flowers. So they have to find them because it is the only thing that can feed their young. So knowing that, the passion flower had to defend itself, and it did that by changing its leaves. So these are all different types of forms of leaves that you find with passion flowers. Just to fool the butterfly into saying, I am not a passion flower, go look somewhere else. If those are not enough, here's a bunch more. So passion flowers have one of the largest diversity of leaf forms that you're going to find within the plant groups, just to protect itself from the butterfly. So, journey number 2, the egg. When the butterfly happens to find a plant, first of all, it's going to land on it. Chemical signals are going to let it know that, yes, in fact, it is a passion flower. But then the butterfly needs to look for certain signs. Number 1, it is a mom, so it wants the best things for their kids. So the health of the plant is important. A plant that is not healthy is not going to have enough nourishment for the offspring. So that's number 1, a healthy plant. Number 2, other eggs and caterpillars. Because if there's too much competition, it's not going to work. So those are 2 important things that the butterfly looks for when it finds a passion flower. Knowing that, the plant had to find a way to defend itself against that. So the tip on many passion flowers will arch downward, giving the appearance of a water stress or sickly looking to deter the butterflies from landing. Also, the nectary glands on many of the passion flowers have now become egg mimicking. So when you look at this picture, there's the egg and there's a nectar gland. So when the butterfly sees this, it's like, too many eggs here, bye-bye. And also the nectary glands can be found at the tips of the tendril or also at the tips of the leaves. So you find golden dots on many passion flowers throughout. And here is a tip of a passion flower completely covered with eggs. And here's one where it has the egg mimics located throughout. And here is the stipules of a plant. And notice how they're yellow and arching, giving the appearance of a caterpillar. So the butterfly will be full. So if the butterfly sees this or all of that, it may decide to lay its egg and just let the kids run by themselves, or it may decide to go somewhere else and find another plant. Which brings us to the second stage. When the caterpillar first hatches, it's going to eat the shell from its egg, high in protein. It's going to grow a little, and then of course it's going to begin to eat the the leaves at a very slow rate. And as it gets bigger, it's going to be making bigger holes, and eventually it may devour the entire plant. So the way that the caterpillars harm the plant is by eating the leaves, not giving it enough area to photosynthesize, and not being able to have enough energy to produce flowers and seeds, and of course it's going to interfere with the natural cycle of the plant, or they will physically eat the flowers, doing the same thing, not allowing the fruit and the seeds for the future generation. Knowing this, the plant had to find a way to defend itself. Chemicals, warfare is known in plants for many millennia. So many chemicals are found within passion flowers. So they use chemicals to defend themselves against predators, but the butterflies took advantage of that. They started eating more passion flowers, became immune, and now the butterflies physically look for the chemicals to protect themselves against their own enemies. So, but the plants had to figure out more wonderful things to protect itself. Hooks. So some of the hairs on the passion flowers are equipped with a hook. So as the caterpillar is walking through the leaf and the plant, it's going to literally physically rip some of its skin, and it's going to desiccate the caterpillar and kill it. There's going to be nectar glands that are going to be found throughout the plant, and they will secrete nectar, bringing about wonderful warriors known as ants. And believe me, when you're in the tropics, you don't mess with ants. You learn that quite quickly. And also, this one is making a home for ants. So as you move the leaf or that flower buds, they'll come out and attack you. So guardians, very important in the tropics. So if the caterpillar happens to survive all of that, then of course we get to the chrysalis stage where nothing happens, but then we get the adult that will begin the cycle all over again. And that is the soap opera. So at the end of any wonderful story, we have the credits. We'll begin with the villains, the passion flower butterfly. This will be the one that you will find here in Southern California. If you go to the horticulture unit, because we have so many wonderful passion flowers, you get to see so many of them around. When you go into Texas and Florida and into South America, now you find the zebra longwing, which is another beautiful one, not found in California yet. And then as you start going into South America, then you find more colorful passion flower butterflies, ranging from the blues to the reds. And of course, the wonderful maiden in distress, the hero of the story, the wonderful, magnificent, spectacular passion flower. And I believe that is the last slide. Question? Pure luck. No, the one that is being described that's going to carry, not my name, but I'm going to be the author, was found about 10 years ago in the Dominican Republic, but was taken to Europe. But because the European summers are so small that it kind of started growing and then it did nothing. So when it finally made it to Long Beach, I got it to flower in 6 months. No problem. Our weather, temperature are a lot longer, so it gives the plant enough time to grow, gather energy, and get it to flower. Or just pure luck.
And then, do the heliconia butterflies, do they do any pollination, or are they all just spread?
There's still studies being done on that. Some people say that they do, maybe by accident, but most people will agree that they're probably just feeding on the plants. I know there's having a few records of them feeding on the nectar and maybe carrying accidental pollination. But is there one delivery that pollinates every passion flower? No, I don't think there's that yet. More study needs to be done. Question?
Two questions. One, how do you get live plants across the customs?
2 ways. When I go to my trips, I go with a lot of Europeans, and like when I went to French Guiana, that's an European country, so they were able to take luggage full of plants out of there. I cannot bring anything here.
Right.
But the moment they are in Europe, and through the Passion Flower Society International, there's the exchange of seeds.
then
So the important part is to find them and get them somewhere in cultivation. Eventually, they'll make it to me. And the way that I acquire most of the plants through the NSF grant for the phylogeny or the classification genetic work being done, it was done through Rancho Santa Ana. So they got a permit to go around the world, collect samples, most of them died. And because I'm a research associate at Rancho Santa Ana, then they gave me the plants so that I can get them to flower and take all of those photos. So any way I can find them. But yes, it is very difficult to bring them across. But Europeans have a lot of, they don't have wonderful weather like us, but they have less restrictions.
Yeah.
And also, I have another friend who lives and sells plants online in Oregon. And just taking them to Oregon, it's a lot less restrictive than California. And then if she gets them, she'll then sell them to me or ship them to me. So you figure out how to maneuver your way around the system, right? Question? Any other question?
Yeah, I have one more. What about, why would some flowers want hummingbirds and others bees? Why not both? And then you have more chances.
It's evolution.
Okay.
And that's the problem when you become so specialized to one pollinator, and then you're going to depend on it.
Yeah.
But many of them are by accident, and just as it's a competition, so you have so many flowers that are trying to compete for the pollinators that if you have something special for them, or if they're all taking the bees and you want a hummingbird, then you can kind of specialize to attract a different pollinator. Or everybody's flowering during the daytime, let me flower at night and get the bats to come out.
So I have one in my backyard. It kind of looks like that white one at the top, but it has purple in it.
That's the common one.
Yeah, common. But it's my neighbor's. It is the orange fruit. And I kept trying to figure out how to eat it. So if I open it up, the seeds or like a pomegranate?
The seeds and the pulp, the orange colored pulp is what you eat.
Inside, not the rind.
Not the rind.
And I can eat it raw?
It's edible, but it's not the best tasting one. But it's edible, you will not die.
So the prettier flowers make the poor fruit.
I'm not going to say that the fruits that I mentioned are the ones that have been collected and grown for having a sweeter and juicier fruit and a lot better tasting.
So if I took it, I could take the seeds and maybe mash it with some sugar and sort of...
You don't need sugar. It's been referred to as kind of having like a cranberry taste.
Okay.
And some people say you can use it as a replacement for cranberries in some dessert.
You know, okay.
I couldn't tell you.
But any seeds are edible. There aren't any toxic or poisonous.
There's only one record of somebody dying from eating a passion flower, and it was a 4-year-old that must have been really hungry because the plant that he ate it's really bad. I've had the fruit, and apparently he ate enough and he died, and you find that in the literature passion fruits are considered toxic because of that one incident. But you need to eat a lot of them to really get sick. And you weren't here before, but Sophia mentioned about her mom making tea. So you find passion flower herbal teas for medicine, but I mean that's a different
But they're
story.
using the flower to make the tea?
They're using the leaf of the incarnata, the one from Eastern United States. So you go to Whole Foods at any market, you can find the bags of tea and
That's
pills.
different from the fruit.
Yes,
Okay.
but that's for medicinal uses.
Oh, I see. Thanks.
Any other questions? I think I got you right on time. Yay! Any questions? You know where I'm found. And on the 24th, I have the Tree Talk, which is also all about Long Beach. That's going to be at LAC.
Oh, that blue hiss.
They wanted one here and one. Don't worry, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one.
Thank you all for coming. Look out for a series